This is PNRShow Season 2, Episode 4, Censored.
I'd rather have lager than lie. I'll take a strong stout over stride. I prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail, so bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager.
From the deepest, darkest, rarely seen corners of the interwebs, it is the Pint of No Return Show. That's right. You are looking for the #1 beer podcast out there, and instead, you found the PNR Show. Welcome. We're going to talk about beer, we're going to talk about life, we're going to talk about all things in between, but most importantly, we're going to talk about the three handsome gentlemen I'm staring at right now, and that would be Gary, Jeremy, and Keith. Good evening, guys.
Can't talk desert golfing.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
Too busy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
It was really, normally Keith has to really admonish me to be quiet before he starts his intro. He had no problem tonight because I was just desert golfing.
It was the play-by-play that was bothering me, though.
For those of you who aren't aware, Desert Golf is an app we talked about, I believe it was on the last show, it was one of our pick segments, and since then the four of us have gotten it, and it's pretty addictive for a basically 1981 version of golfing on your phone.
Yeah, the 2600 could have pulled this off pretty handily.
Yeah,
it had some great effects too.
Now, Jeremy had the big head start on all of us, but in about a week, I've gone through 815 holes.
Yeah. I'm rapidly approaching 800 myself.
And Gary just picked up today, and yesterday, and he's whizzing through. And I think what needs to be invented, a game center really should do this, some kind of live feed where you could have 2 or 3 of your friends and just knowing that they're on their app and playing it and just watching.
You know, if they did that, then they could then release stats on the productivity of America and how it goes up and down with different game releases.
Exactly.
That would be cool. You know,
that would be amazing.
It's kind of Twitch TV-ish. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I just said that. That's totally what Twitch TV is.
Yes.
They haven't figured out how to stream it from the iPad yet, but when they do, I'll probably be all over it.
It would be incredible. Thank you, first of all, to the Epoxy Boggers and Stu Venable for the use of their song for our theme. And tonight, we're going to visit our old friends in California, Petaluma, the Lagunitas boys, with their Censored. Now, if you are a fan of the old Happy Time Magic Hour, and you know, why would you be? But if you were, you may recall that we've actually done this beer on the old show. But the great thing about getting older is that you sometimes forget that what you thought about a beer. So I'm going to come into this cold. We've got the Censored Rich Copper Ale. Tastes like pennies. And guys, what can you tell us about the Censored Rich Copper Ale that we didn't talk about 2 years ago?
I can read what the website says.
Hey, how about it?
Originally called the Chronic, the beer was censored by the Federal Label Approving Agency. They claimed the word had something to do with the marijuana reference. So they just slapped a censored sticker over it as a joke, and the label got accepted. So that's how it got its name. I've actually seen a bottle with the original Chronic label on it. And it looks a lot like this without the word censored across it. So,
now, Lagunitas is fairly well known for not only their great tasting beers, but also being in trouble with the law over marijuana.
Yeah.
In their brewery.
Or being in trouble in court, which we actually will be talking about later in the show.
We will. Good
but
fortune.
In the meantime, we've got a 6.1% alcohol, 6.7, alcohol by volume in this rich copper ale, and I'm looking in this dark bottle, and it's even through the tint, I can see it's very, very clear.
It is. It's very clear, and it's good because mine has a little stuff on the bottom. Well, we should drink.
Ooh, whoa!
Rob's already sampling his.
Is he really?
Sounds good.
Mine did a Vesuvius on me.
His erupted a bit, and he, like a good man, he threw it in his mouth.
Good job, Rob.
I had to save the juices. So I'll keep my review. I won't review it on just the foam alone.
That's good. That smells nice
Pour this out
and
here.
bubbly.
Man, I got a ton of head. I almost had the same problem Rob had.
Yeah, I got a big glass.
That's Keith. First of all, that's never a problem. And secondly,
I don't know. That's not what they tell me when you burst too soon.
Man, it's like you guys are just like hinting at everything we're going to talk about.
indeed. It's that synergy It's that synergy I've been asking for about 4 or 5 years.
You finally got it. So, we gonna drink yet?
Yeah. It's got a foamy head, and
big time foam here. Look at that.
yeah, it's
like
let's see,
running.
kind of maybe a little bit of darker cream soda color to it.
A little bit coppery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's got the richness. So rich copper ale. Hey, all cylinders. Let's not mince words anymore. Let's drink. Prost.
Blowing the foam at my camera might not have been my best.
Bad idea.
Little yeasty flavor there.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is that typical on this beer?
It must be, and I just didn't notice it because the bottle that Rob got, I know, is been around in my cupboard for quite a while. The bottle that I got at the store like 2 days ago. So we'll see what he says.
Thanks for the hand-me-down.
It's not as hoppy as I remember.
No, I'm not getting much hop out of it at all.
Usually Lagunitas is pretty hoppy in general. I mean, that's kind of one of their things.
It's actually not as hoppy as I remember it.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, like you said, Lagunitas does the extra mile on almost all their flavors, but most notably hops.
Yeah, they're not afraid of hops.
Correct.
Even probably the 2 hops that they put in this that Rob is going to have a fit about, but
I'm not having a fit.
No. Maybe you'll drink more of this than the last Lagunitas.
Necessarily mind hops.
Oh, just when they put them in beer.
It's when they're very heavy-handed with them.
It's just when they're in beer.
All right, so this is going down nice and easy because it's a Lagunitas beer, and they tend to do that for me. So this is not my favorite Lagunitas beer. We had one of those last week with the what was that, nighttime? But this is good. It's a light copper-colored ale, and it is definitely more of an ale than their typical hopped-up IPA type things. So, and interesting little yeasty flavor on the back end, but also some nice malty flavors in there as well. So it's a very solid beer that I will give a very solid 7 to.
Well, that's a pretty respectable score. Yeah, it's a coppery color. I didn't get a lot of head on my pour. Definitely a lot of sediment in mine. A lot of little floaters in there.
Yeah, I have some in mine too.
Not a very hoppy beer. Getting a lot of yeast aroma and flavor out of it. Has a good body, good mouthfeel. Just the right amount of carbonation. And it finishes pretty cleanly. I'll give it a 7. No, 6. 6 for this beer from me. Not one of my favorites, but not a bad beer. Not what I would pick if there are other Lagunitas beers around.
It would depend on my mood. In the right mood, I'll pick this.
This is a good beer to pair with something, like a burger or something, where you don't want the beer to overpower what you're eating. What I like about it is
Or brew salt.
Or brew salt. What I like about it is this is notable to just about all the Lagunitas I've had, is they do really good mouthfeel, but not just the mouthfeel, the balance of richness all the way through from beginning to middle to end. It doesn't lack anywhere in there. It's got a nice, rich, almost buttery middle to it, which they notably have in their IPAs too. I like it, but again, I remember it being hoppier, and I kind of liked it a little hoppier. So I don't know if we've got just the difference from one generation to the next. They took some of the hops out, but it's a 6. It's a good 6. It's definitely a go-to solid. Keep around in the fridge for whatever beer. But yeah, if I were at the brewery, this isn't probably the one I'd pull down first.
If we were to be taking a trip to the Lagunitas Brewery, this would probably be the one beer I think we all could at least settle on, because it's the Lagunitas company is must be mistaking hops for marijuana, because they really enjoy layering those hops on thick. But this one, it's not nearly as potent and as bitter and for my taste buds at least, offensive. So it's very easily drinkable. It's got a nice kind of a rounded, almost like I want to say like a toffee maybe aftertaste to it a little bit, like a burnt toffee.
Yeah.
And I will actually agree with Jeremy on the rating of a 6. I think it's okay.
And that's a 6.25 rating, which is pretty close to like Beer Advocate. The Beer Advocate, actually, no, we're a little below. They're an 84, but Untapped is around a 3.5.
Well, I know how the joke around the podcast is that you like to drop my score when we do a heavy hopped beer, but I will also say that the reverse is also true, at least with Beer Advocate. If the name of the beer has Lagunitas or Sierra Nevada in it, I can almost guarantee you that it's going to be bumped up a point or two just on name alone.
Yeah, that could be. That could be.
So take it for what it's worth.
Okay.
So at 6, I mean we're all pretty relatively.
Yeah, right in line.
Yeah,
very much there.
So go ahead and give that Lagunitas guys a try. Yes, Gary. Sorry.
Never mind. Nope. We're moving on.
Okay. Moving on, actually, to Lagunitas. They have been in the news recently. A lawsuit where they are suing the other company I just mentioned, Sierra Nevada, over an IPA label. So let me ask the California boys, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on here?
So apparently they got into the other part of the censored beer and decided that their IPA label looked exactly like the Sierra Nevada IPA label. And that's true. They both have the letters I and P and A on the label. And that's about as far as the resemblance goes. We'll post a link to this story. They decided to sue Sierra Nevada for trademark infringement, and it's ridiculous. If you look at these labels, they
look nothing alike.
Other than they do have the same 3 letters, and they use black ink. So
Sierra Nevada doesn't even use black ink, or it's like a green.
But the letters are in black ink anyway. It's ridiculous. And a day after this news hit, they realized that they were high or
dumb
or something.
Yeah.
Decided to pull the lawsuit.
Well, the font. First of all, you should take a look at these pictures. Look at the link that are in the show notes. The letters that Lagunitas uses the font is kind of a stencil font, kind of like you would associate with the military almost, and in all caps. And yes, the Sierra Nevada is also in all caps, but it's
almost
not
like
stencil.
the word censored.
Yeah.
Stenciled on there in all caps.
It is.
Yeah.
It's that kind of a font.
Almost.
The Sierra, though, is not a stencil. The A, the bridge of the A is completely different. It's angled, whereas the Lagunitas is straight across. I mean,
it's totally different.
It's just completely not even close.
It's like the difference between a serif font and a sans serif font.
Yeah.
Although these are both serif, but the difference is that dramatic.
And in addition, they filed this complaint in December 2014, and it says Lagunitas founder Tony McGee became aware that a label on Sierra Nevada's new Hop Hunter IPA scheduled to be released January 15th resembled the label on Lagunitas' flagship IPA, which the brewery first released 20 years ago. The unique. Here's their reasoning. Now you tell me whether or not they're smoking weed. The unique IPA lettering.
We're done. They've established that. We've established that.
The unique IPA lettering used in the Lagunitas IPA family of trademarks has a distinctive serif font, distinctive kerning or letter spacing between the P and the A, slightly aged or weathered look, with uneven areas on each of the letters, and the elimination of any periods between the letters. These elements together are unique to the iconic design of Lagunitas IPA. Now, I actually haven't seen many beers, IPAs, where they did abbreviate the letters. I usually see them all together, and the kerning, the spacing is not the same.
It's not.
It's not the same.
There's the IPA label. I shared a screenshot.
Yeah, Gary's got the screenshot of the two
the labeling, and they're not. Like I said, they're not even close.
No.
Other than the fact that they are the same letters, IP and A. It's
well, even in their description. I mean, they talk about missing areas in the IPA. There isn't any in the Sierra Nevada.
I don't
know what they were looking at.
And it's funny if you scroll through the complaint that's listed on the in the article, you see the labels compared to each other. They show the labels, they show the bottles, they show the 6-pack carton next to Sierra Nevada next to Lagunitas. And if you didn't know what you were looking at, you would think you were looking at proof that these are completely different.
Yeah, I know.
It's insane.
I was talking to a guy at work who is also somewhat of a beer aficionado who showed me that grapefruit IPA that we're going to try sometime. He was saying that he thinks that there's kind of like a personal beef going on here, that they're on some personal like dog pissing contest. The founder of Lagunitas and the founder of Sierra Nevada have something going on, and it was really more about that than anything else. And that could be pure speculation, but that makes a lot more sense than actually anything in the lawsuit. Just two guys that, they're in competition with each other, obviously. Maybe they don't get along, maybe, I don't know. But that to me is a much more valid reason than anything in that lawsuit.
So, So 2 days ago, Lagunitas founder Tony McGee posted some notes on Twitter. The first, it says, today, January 13th, 2015, has been the worst day ever in 23 years of growing my brewery. Worst. Growing a biz involves defending a biz. Then, a minute later, he writes, defending a biz requires answers to hard questions. Questions like, are our foundations strong? Are our flavors right? Are our labels defensible? And then another minute later, there are many courts in the world. For me, over the last month, one court was a series of rebuffed phone calls. Another was a court of law. Today was in the hands of the ultimate court, the court of a public opinion, and in it I got my answer to my question. Our IPA's trademark has limits. I don't know every answer beforehand, so I feel around for the edges and try to learn. Today I was seriously schooled, and I heard you well. Tomorrow morning we'll drop the infringement suit and get back to answering other questions. I don't think I was wrong for wanting to know because I had to know the answer, but the answer came much sooner than I thought and in a different court than I thought it would. Can I say thanks?
At least
high. He is high.
But at least he admits it. I mean, he admits that he was maybe a little high when they filed the lawsuit. So
and they actually have screenshots of the complaint, which is just even more ridiculous.
So
I think to come out and admit to the internet he was wrong and thank the internet for pointing it out that he was wrong was probably the right thing to do.
Yeah.
To avoid a real shitstorm hitting social media.
But the way he admitted it was wrong was not saying he was wrong. He was just saying, okay, you told me I was wrong, so I'm stopping.
That's right.
Not really coming out and saying, look, I was probably stupid that I did this.
It's the best you're gonna get, and I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too.
Is it going to make me, when I'm in the store and see Sierra Nevada and Lagunitas sitting side by side on a shelf, is it going to impact my judgment of which beer to buy? No, it's going to be based on whatever I'm feeling at the time.
I
don't
actually
whatever.
blame him. He's just some pothead high brewer, my personal opinion. The person who I would blame is his lawyer, because his lawyer should say, look, these labels are nothing alike. You have no case here.
A lawyer would never say that. He would say, sure.
The lawyer gets money for doing all this stuff.
No, you got that. You're right about that.
The lawyer has had nothing to do for the last 20 years. He's had nothing interesting to do with logging. Well, they did have the whole, are they really selling weed or not thing. But other than that, I mean, it's been like, come on, give me something to do. This company's just.
I can tell you this. I had Sierra Nevada Torpedo for dinner, and now I'm having this, and the two beers are mingling just fine down here. Everything is happy.
Yeah, that's a good combo right there.
It is, actually.
There is one company though that does not have to worry about being trademark infringed, and that would be Stegi Brewery out of Iceland. X-Files?
Oh, yeah.
Really? The truth is out there?
The truth is out there.
All right, so Stegi Brewery in Iceland has a beer that's called Hvalur 2. It's being sold for a limited period to mark the Icelandic midwinter month of Thori. Now, what makes this particular brew special is that they use animal products, which has been done before. I mean, we've had bacon beers on the show, or essences of different things that you don't normally find in the beer, but this is a little special. Fin whales. They're using some special bits from the fin whales, most notably the testicles, which they take and they are cured according to a, quote, old Icelandic tradition before they are salted and smoked, which is what you want to do with whale balls. And one of every two that are harvested are used for brewing. We want to create a true Thori atmosphere, or Tori, however you say it, and therefore we decided to use smoked testicles from fin whales for flavoring the beer, said the co-owner of the brewery. We put a lot of effort into it, and it's a long process.
Long.
Very long.
Not surprisingly, conservationists have been a little bit angered, as the fin whale is an endangered species. The Whale and Dolphin Conservation Group described it as, quote, an immoral and outrageous to use whale meat, pardon the pun, to make beer. The product was temporarily banned by public health authorities, but later sold out in alcohol shops. This time around, all the permissions are in place, the brewery says. So, guys, the question is, when are we going to get Hvalur 2 beer for the show?
Honestly, this thing has been cured and salted and smoked and everything. It's basically going to be a powder. They're throwing into the beer for seasoning. It's going to taste vaguely like smoke, yeah, and maybe salt.
Yeah, but if you go to your craft brewer to a restaurant where they have tons of beer on tap, and you're looking down the list and you see, Hvalur 2. Fin whale testicles. Is that automatically shoot it to the top of your list?
No, not at all.
It might just for the adventure of it. It's not going to be It's not going to be my go-to beer by any stretch of the imagination, but
I'm not.
I might grab it off of a just to say I did it. Why not?
Just to check in. You got to check into the.
Yeah, you got to check in with Untapped.
I want to see the Untapped badge for beers that have anything to do with balls.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a testicle beer level 1 award you can get.
You pick up a souvenir that says,
awesome.
I drank whale ball beer and all I have is this loud beer.
That'd be something. You ought to get a pint glass or something.
I wonder if it just grows a batch of chest hair on you.
Man, I don't know.
There's something. Is it virile? Something very virile about drinking whale testicles? I don't know.
I don't know. I will try just about any beer. I've had I guess the most adventuresome I think I've gotten really is the Voodoo Donut beer that Rogue Brewing puts out, and I had a taste of that. I had one of those, and it was horrible. One of the worst thing I have ever tasted in terms of a beer.
You know, the thing with the Voodoo Donut though is they didn't actually use bacon.
They didn't actually use bacon, right?
No,
so,
they used smoke and salt.
But this just reminds me of that. It's like that gimmicky thing that they're trying to do, just get publicity. And I like beers that actually taste good, and it's probably costs a lot of money. So I'd rather buy beers that I know are going to be good, and I'll pass on the wet balls. Thank you.
I will tell you, maybe yes, that part of it is the notoriety and the publicity from it. But my brother-in-law visits Nordic countries all the time, Norway in most particular. And he will be the first to tell you that they do crazy things like that all the time.
Well, I would do crazy food, trying crazy food things if I was in a country and had stuff. I do the local menu. I would definitely try that stuff.
I mean, if you're surrounded by fish as your main staple, you run out of normal ideas to use, so you go with the off the cuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Still, putting balls in beer just isn't right.
Teabagging your beer.
Sorry.
Got to get that for the show. Well,
yeah.
Sticking with our theme, we've got a story that's going to give you a little bit of pain. The scene is China. The woman, Fan Lung. I'm sorry, the man, Fan Lung. Pardon me. The woman, Feng Lung. All right, so we got a story out of China. A man was separated from his manhood in more ways than one, literally. You see, this guy, Fan Lung, decided, mistake number one, apparently he used his wife's mobile phone to send his girlfriend a saucy email. Problem is he forgot to sign out of his account when he finished the email and left his phone. And his wife found the email. Now, little Fan Lung is sleeping away soundly in his bed, and so what do you do when you discover this? Well, of course, you go to the drawer, you pick up a pair of scissors, you walk calmly over to the bed, and you snip off your husband's penis. Of course, that's what you do.
Naturally.
Absolutely, that's what you do. All right, so, we've heard this story before. The John Wayne Bobbitt story is 20 years old now. And so right now, you're thinking, so what's the big deal? Man is detached from penis once again by a jealous wife. Well, Fan Lung was taken to the hospital, and the wife was apparently detained. But while he was in the hospital, he was able to get his manhood reattached, and was recovering and sleeping soundly in his hospital room, where his wife apparently got free of her captors, snuck into the hospital, and cut it off again.
And then
it gets better or worse.
Of course, you throw it out the window.
What else would you do with a severed penis?
This time, the guy was not going to be caught with his pants down. Well, I guess he was. And he chased after her. And if you look this up on the internet, the Daily Mail is what I'm looking at. We have a lovely picture, a pixelated picture, of course, of a gentleman running out into the street, a very bloody, very, very bloody Fan Lung running after his wife after she cut off his penis the second time and threw it out the window. The hospital spokesman said, the first we were aware of what happened was when someone came into the reception area to say a naked man was beating up a woman outside the hospital. Now, hold on. I will be the first to tell you I would never, ever raise a hand to a woman. Ever, ever, ever. But I got to say, I might be tempted after she's cut my penis off twice.
Okay,
I might be getting close to the break. He was stopped. He was stopped, and the woman was taken in for. And the woman was taken in for treatment. And then we discovered she had chopped off his penis again. The doctors and the police officer, and this time she was arrested and put under guard, and apparently they were fine. The doctors and the police officers combed the area outside, but failed to find the guy's junk, and they believe it may have been taken away by a stray dog or a cat. So, that's just when he thought. First of all, the initial reaction when all four of us, we're laughing now, but the initial reaction when the four of us read this was feelings of pain.
Yeah, it hurt. I mean, it hurt.
He is now in stable condition, but is extremely emotionally distraught.
Oh, shit.
Fans love her. The story does not. It just continues to just give and give. Fans love her. Oh no! See, you're burying the lead, Keith. Gotta wait till the end. Fans love her, who visited him at the hospital, said she still plans to marry him as soon as she can. It doesn't matter that he's lost his fertility. He has 5 children already. That came from Love Story? Yes, Fang has been discharged from the hospital and is now under arrest for grievous bodily harm.
You think?
So, yeah.
Hey, I found a way to fix up the censored.
Yeah.
What's that? Whale balls?
Oh, poor Pliny over the top of it.
Chinese penis?
That story.
That's painful.
Yeah, that's awful.
Yeah,
And to be so close to being reunited and then
reunited with your
fed to a dog.
Well, now that's what they assume happened.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it's fact.
That's probably what happened. Yeah.
It's
Because the
just-
alternate is somebody picked it up. and
Yeah,
ate it,
it's
so
horrible.
I'm just gonna go ahead and say
Hey, it's my wife who I haven't seen in a week. Ah,
Oh, it actually. I thought. Never mind.
honey, please promise.
The timing of that was not good.
Let me just tell my
I'm
wife
sorry.
the story real quick. So there was a guy in China. You look really nice, by the way. There's a guy in China. I gotta put her up. The guy in China sent a girlfriend a text, a saucy email on his wife's phone, and he, I guess, forgot to sign out of his email, so the wife found it. So of course she goes into his bedroom with the scissors and cuts his penis off.
As you do.
As like you should, right? And he goes to the hospital and the surgeons reattach
I'm a little
it.
disturbed that was her immediate response.
Yeah, said as you should.
As you should.
The surgeons reattach it, and she sneaks back into the hospital and cuts it off again, and throws it out the window. He runs out into the street after her. Kind of reached his limit there, and starts beating her up. And they pull him off of her.
Does
And
he run out the window to go get the...
well, I mean, at this point, it's pain is pain.
Yeah.
They got blood all over it, and they searched all over for it, and they figure a dog or a cat made off with it.
Well, it's very appropriate that a pussy would eat the penis.
Whoa! Okay,
Wait, I missed that. You got to repeat that.
you're gonna have to put the explicit tab on this one. She said it's quite appropriate that the pussy ate the penis. And with that, my wife is home.
Well done. Well done.
Wow. Okay, so
Can we get off of the whole balls and dick conversation and move on to something else?
so to
Yeah.
speak. All right, let's move on. We've got our half pint segments coming at you right now, but first, a little bumper music.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe.
Okay, that was more nauseating than the story about a guy getting his dick cut off.
Yeah. In this segment, we talk about things that are catching our eye this week, whether they be TV shows, movies, apps, music, books, whatever strikes our fanciful little minds. And my fanciful little mind this week is Marvel's Agent Carter. New series that premiered just last week from those wonderful folks over at Marvel. And if you don't know, not aware of the story, it's actually out of the first Captain America movie. He works with a woman in the SSR of a strategic something reserve, and her name is Agent Carter. And this story takes place after Captain America has been declared missing, and it's about her rise in the early origins of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's done in the 1940s. Very, very well done. It's awesome what you can do when you have Marvel's kind of money to throw behind it. And Haley Atwell plays the lead character, and she is just fantastic and lovely to look at. And Marvel's Agent Carter is a really good show. And I recommend you watch it. I love everything that Marvel's doing, from these TV shows to the synergy that the movies have. We talked about it endlessly on before, and since we've last talked about Marvel, of course, you now have Benedict Cumberbatch coming on board to play Doctor Strange. I mean, it's just an awesome time to be a fan of comic books and comic book movies. So give Marvel's Agent Carter a try.
You know, I really like Stark's butler in that show.
Oh yeah, James Darcy.
Yeah.
Who you might
Yeah.
remember from Master and Commander.
Yeah. Good. That's a good
Very good actor.
combo with him and her. So
Yeah.
I concur. That's a good pick. I've watched the first episode and a half or so. So
Yeah.
Good.
So Jeremy, Ever the Shutterbug, has an app, or is it just a program?
It is a subscription to Adobe's image processing package for photographers. So Adobe has moved to a subscription model for pretty much all of their software. Lightroom, Photoshop, what are the other things? Illustrator. 10 million creative applications that they make. And it can get really expensive. However, they have a package for photographers that gives you Lightroom and Photoshop, which are two incredibly powerful image cataloging and manipulation tools, for $10 a month, which is a great deal because the Photoshop license on the previous version was something like $500 to buy the package, right? $300, $500? It was expensive.
It was a lot.
Yeah. It was a lot
So this
of
gives you both for $120 a year, and you get all the updates. You keep up to date with everything, and for essentially the cost of a Lightroom license every year. So if you're a photographer, it's a great deal. Highly recommended.
If you bought the Photoshop original license, like a out-of-box copy, and upgraded it, pretty much, even if you went every other upgrade cycle on Photoshop, this is a cheaper path than doing that.
Yeah, and even Lightroom on its own, this is about the cost of Lightroom.
Yeah.
Lightroom was $80 or something, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's if you are into photography, worth $10 a month.
You're probably right, but I just hate software subscriptions in general.
I agree with you,
Except here.
except if you
I mean, I understand.
if you were going to upgrade Lightroom every year,
yeah.
it would cost you about this much, and you wouldn't have Photoshop.
But see, the thing about Adobe is, and that's obviously why they changed to this, is it was so ridiculously expensive that more than half their clientele didn't pay for it.
Right, it was all pirated.
And so this just kind of makes me a little sad because the underground movement has gone away.
Well, I mean, also when you develop proprietary.
There's something romantic about pirating software.
About stealing stuff.
Well, you can still steal music and movies and stuff.
when you develop proprietary software, you run the risk. If you price it too high, you run the risk of basically making it obsolete by just pricing yourself out of the market. And subscriptions tend to do that if you, I mean, especially something like this.
I don't know.
I mean, it's definitely, if you do the math, it's a win-win for Adobe because it's really hard to pirate a subscription, so automatically everybody's on board.
That's
Because so many people have been pirating it for so long, everybody knows how to use it, and the subscription is now affordable. So it's kind of like, the music business coming to iTunes after so many years of getting lost revenues through Napster. Everybody wins. It just makes me sad that we don't have someone to hate anymore and steal from.
Sony.
I don't know.
Well, there's Sony. Thank you, Jeremy. You cheered me up a little bit with
poor
that.
Sony.
They're still your internet service provider.
Yeah, it's hard to steal from them, though.
Yeah, but no, in terms of someone to hate.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt of the hate there.
All right, so Gary wants to talk about Tommy Caldwell and Kevin Jorgensen. I don't know these guys.
So last weekend, my wife and I went to Yosemite for a couple nights, and these two guys, Tommy Caldwell and what's his name, Kevin Jorgensen, they're climbing El Capitan. They were.
Oh, yeah.
They finished yesterday. They were climbing what's called the Dawn Face, and if you've ever seen a picture of El Capitan or you've heard about it, it's a very, very, very large kind of straight up granite face, the biggest one kind of probably anywhere. And the Dawn Face
it's like the hardest ascent ever, or something like that.
Yeah, this is an ascent that was what people said was pretty much impossible. They free climbed it, and free climbing really means that they use just their body strength for any upward progress. They did have ropes attached to them. They could go, so if they fell, they didn't fall to their death. They had a rope. And they would climb up, and then at night or when they were just worn out, they could go back down to their tents using ropes, and then use ropes to get back up to their forward progress. So they finished the climb yesterday. And I don't know, Jeremy, have you been to Yosemite?
Yes, I have.
So seeing Yosemite in pictures is sort of, and trying to appreciate it through pictures is sort of like trying to appreciate beer by looking at a picture of it.
Or to bring it back to a previous subject, the height of whale balls.
Yeah, that too.
So just drinking them.
El Capitan is truly, when you see it in person, it's daunting in a lot of ways. So these guys, what they did was pretty amazing, and I actually got to see them on the wall climbing it while I was there. So.
Wow, cool. It's featured. I think pretty prominently in Star Trek V. Captain Kirk is climbing El Capitan, and Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible 2 or 3 is climbing El Capitan at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
So it's very popular, and it's noted for its difficulty to ascend. So yeah, that is pretty cool. I didn't know the whole go up to a certain point, come down by ropes, and go back up and continue.
Yeah,
I don't know whether that tarnishes the whole image of what they were doing or not.
Well, the free climbing, it was interesting that the way it works is there's what they call pitches, which is point A to point B across the face.
Yeah.
And for each pitch, you start at the beginning, and then you have to climb across to the end. If you fall anywhere along there, you have to go back to the beginning and reclimb. So you don't get to make progress and slip and make progress and slip. You have to make the entire pitch without falling, and that's one of the main challenges because there's nothing to hold on to. There's little flakes of rock. If you look at the photos of these guys on the wall, it's amazing. They're basically doing pull-ups with their fingertips.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's a link to a blog that I included in the notes that the guy was there. We saw the guy. We were listening to him talk. He had the largest telephoto lens I've ever seen in person. And it was just huge. I mean, we're talking like whale phallic huge. And
is it whale ball huge?
And he was like, through his lens, he had an LCD screen on the back of his camera, and through that, my wife said she could see the wind blowing the guy's shirt up on the face of the cliff.
Wow.
So I mean, it was that close, and he has some absolutely amazing pictures of these guys as they're climbing. So it's worth just kind of scrolling through and seeing his photography and the images he captured.
And they've been preparing for this since 2007 and have made several attempts at it. So
Yeah.
Wow.
that tells you how difficult it is.
Okay.
And one guy is missing a finger.
Oh. I
Wow.
hope he didn't leave it up there.
No, it was
Oh,
cut
okay.
off in an accident, but
Very cool.
it's these guys.
Well,
Congratulations.
that's actually an advantage for him because they say when you lose one finger, the other four become much stronger.
That's not what they.
No.
That's not what they say at all.
They feel much better.
Oh no, Keith.
So-
Keith, do you have a pick for this evening?
I do have a pick, Rob. And I think this has been around for a little while, but I'm just discovering it, and so it's going to be my pick.
Interesting,
Even
because
though
I got made fun of that earlier this evening before the show
I know.
started. Yeah.
Funny how that works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Apparently, if as we all are, I get mocked for being an Apple fanboy all the time. But if anything, I actually use far more Google products than Apple products for my day-to-day usage. I just don't happen to use their phone. That's all. But Google Chrome is my browser of choice on whatever platform I'm on. And if you use Google Chrome, you notice they have their own little app store of extensions and add-ons and stuff you can get for Chrome. And one of the things in there is Google Chrome Remote Desktop.
Yes.
And this is a really dead simple way to get access to your computer while you're away. You download this into your Google Chrome and install it, and it runs a little tiny installer, and then that computer, whatever you did that to, can now host a remote session where you can actually get at your computer's desktop from another computer, be it at work or at a friend's house. Very convenient for doing tech support with family and friends who aren't maybe as tech savvy as you are. Totally 100% free. The reason I found it is they just came out with an iOS app to get in there and do it too. And the Google Chrome iOS app is also free. You load it up after you've installed this on a computer you want to remote into. You can use it then on your iPad to get into your computer at home and remote in and control it and do whatever you need to do. And it works really, really well. You just log into your Google account, and it's just an option there that says remote control.
Any security issues?
I haven't found any yet. I mean, it's the main security concern would be that it's Google's controlling it. So in theory, they have some access to your private systems.
Mm-hmm.
What if they're going to do anything with that? I doubt it. But I think it's just another way to keep you in the Google universe. Sign into your Google account to do everything. And in this case, it means get at your home computer. The app on iOS isn't 100% perfect. If you're paying for a service like LogMeIn or something, their software is a little nicer. It's a little more polished for using from the iPad or the iPhone. But this works, and it gets the job done. So if you need to email yourself something from home, a file from home, and you need to get at something and drop it in your Dropbox at home, this is a quick and easy way to do it. And it's worth checking out. And it's completely free.
So do you have to keep Chrome running on the host PC?
No. Once you install it's an extension to Chrome that lets you do this. And then there's an option within that extension that says make this computer a host computer.
Okay.
And when you do that, it downloads a little service basically that runs on your home PC, and it works with Windows and Mac.
Cool.
Interesting. I mean, it's a little concerned, I guess. But
I mean, they're already
so much
reading all your
exactly,
email.
exactly,
So exactly,
yeah.
what are they going to find on your computer
Hey,
that you want them to find?
quick hit, since you were talking about Apple and Google, I did see an article come out, it was yesterday, I think, about Apple patenting the touchless interface. Do you know what that's about?
Touchless?
Touchless interface.
No, there's a
Kind of
bunch
like
of these.
the rumor is it's going to be like Minority Report style.
Yeah, there's already a hardware piece you can get out there. I forget what it's called, but it's basically a touchless mouse. You plug it in and calibrate it, and it sits on the back side of your keyboard, and it lets you use your hand gestures to control mouse movements. So that already exists.
If you have an Xbox 360 or a Kinect, you already have a touchless interface. The Kinect is the whole system on the Xbox One works on a touchless interface. So
How did they get a... Never mind.
It's more voice controlled than. But,
it does have commands. Yeah.
It does have some gesture support, but I don't believe you can use the whole thing just with gestures.
Not the whole thing, but yes,
Right.
a good part of it.
This would be using your whole computer basically with gestures.
Very interesting.
Interesting.
So, okay, with that, that's going to close out episode 4, season 2 of the Planet of No Return show. And next week, we are going to dig into some new beers that good old Jeremy has sent us. You know what the beer is for next week?
You talking to him or me?
Or Gary.
Oh, Gary sent. Gosh, darn.
The other Jeremy.
Jeremy.
I don't know. Let me look into the list. Why don't we do Sweet As? There's a beer called Sweet As from...
Oh, well, hey now.
And continuing our
Talked about
our
whale balls,
male
Chinese
genitalia
penises, now
themes.
sweet as.
We're talking sweet ass next week.
So, yeah, well, guys,
S-A-S.
so all of you guys out there, folks listening to the Planet of No Return show, make sure you tune in next week for some sweet as.
I'd rather
And I don't just mean the 4 of us.
I'll take a strong stout over stride. I prefer to confer with a half pint of ale than live a long life till my private parts fail. For life without liquor is to no avail. So bring me lager for life. I'd rather have lager than life. I'll take a strong stout over
That poor guy lost his egg roll, man. Right out the window.